Howdy everyone, welcome to another episode of George Reviews. And this episode we'll be discussing new Edgar Wright film, Last Night in Soho, starring Thomasin, McKenzie, and Anya Taylor-Joy. So Last Night in Soho is the new Edgar Wright film, and I was cautiously excited about it. Edgar Wright is a filmmaker I do like, but I don't always go out of my way to see his films. But this one was getting a mixed response, and usually when there's a mixed response, I get kind of excited. Like, usually I'll either really love it or really hate it, so I was just too curious not to check out Last Night in Soho. So Last Night in Soho centers around the character of Ellie, played by Thomasin McKenzie, who's an aspiring fashion designer student in London, and through her dreams, she's transported back into the 1960s, where she takes on the identity of Sandy, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and she has nostalgia for the 60s. She's in love with the 60s. Even though she was never really living in the 60s, she still has a love and appreciation. But as she goes into this dream world, into the past, she realizes that it's not all what it is cracked up to be. And so I thought this was a very interesting concept for Last Night in Soho. And it's definitely an interesting film with really great visuals. And it's also a film that I did not really enjoy. Not that much anyways. And I really wanted to come into this really liking it. Like, I wanted to adore this film. I was hearing comparisons to Mulholland Drive, my favorite film of all time, and so I was like, okay, if this is getting Mulholland Drive comparisons, then I want to see what this is about. And what I found was predictable, sloppy, cringy, and just really bad storytelling. Very predictable and derivative of things that we have seen before. And because of that derivativeness, I don't know if that's a word, I'm coining it, I was pretty much calling every action, every direction the story was going. And coming from someone like Edgar Wright, who's done Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Baby Driver, those are great films to follow, and he has a really great track record, and I'm just not sure what he was really thinking about this. Now, to what I liked. I thought the cinematography was brilliant. I thought they really captivated the time period of the 1960s and the production design and the costuming. All those sequences where she's going back in the 60s, and the dancing and the singing and the club life, the nightlife, was done really well. I thought that was really well done, and I enjoyed those aspects of it. I enjoyed the imagery. I enjoyed the dark side to it, though a bit sanitized for my taste. There are still aspects of that dark side of the 1960s, especially for women, that I was able to really latch onto. It was still beautifully shot and beautifully done, but it's just the story and the characters that just felt so flat for me. And I don't know what went wrong. I don't know why I couldn't enjoy this. It's just filled with twists and turns that would make M. Night Shyamalan blush. It's less abstract and more expository. It holds your hand through the entire thing. It explains way too much. It is just, everything is left on the table without any nuance or subtlety to really be captivated and to dive in. And that is a problem for me, because I enjoy those things in a sort of mystery kind of thriller. Though this was kind of trying to do aspects of horror thriller that is not scary whatsoever. I pretty much thought all the horror elements were laughable. I did not care for Thomasin McKenzie's performance. She seems like a great actress, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure she's amazing in other things, but it's just the way this character is written. Very mousy and very awkward and just very shy, but she lets herself loose in this time period of the 1960s, and that could be a good balance of character, but it just didn't work for me. I did enjoy Anya Taylor-Joy's performance for the most part. She continues to impress me with all her work. This is the best project for her, but she really did her best with the material that was given. We also have Matt Smith, who is all right in the film. I'm not too familiar with his work, but he did okay. And just the level of cringe in this film is just so cheesy and so predictable, and it's just, I was just shaking my head the entire time in my seat in the theater. And I did go to a theater to see this, though it is exclusively in theaters. I'm sure it'll be on demand very soon. But it's just the technical aspects that kept me through it and kept me wanting to stay in my seat and finish the film. You know, I saw people walking out of the theater for whatever reasons, and I kind of wanted to walk out at points too, just because of how cheesy and predictable everything was. Though I stuck through it, it was definitely not the most easiest watch. It started out promising, but then it just diverged into the second and third acts, and it just self-destruct, I guess, is the best term I could think of what happened to this film. I really expect more from Edgar Wright, honestly. And he co-wrote the script, so there's definitely no excuses to be thrown here. You know, he has every opportunity. He is a well-renowned, great filmmaker, and this is just really embarrassing for him to put out, for anyone to put out. I thought this was B-movie level screenwriting. This is like something Neil Breen would maybe write. I would at least get some ironic enjoyment out of that if he had written this, and he didn't, and he obviously didn't direct it either. Edgar Wright made this, and it's definitely a departure. I think it's great. He took a risk, took something different, and then he took himself into a new direction, but it just didn't work for me, and it didn't work for a lot of people, because this is obviously a mixed reception. Some people are reviewing it and positively, some people are reviewing it negatively, but I'm leaning more negatively, as you could probably already tell my dissatisfaction with this film. I saw the trailer, so I was a little bit cautiously hyped for this, cautiously excited, you know, wanting to go into this and love it and have it blow my mind, be the film of the year. But I don't even think it's going to make my best or worst of list. It is masked and a lot of breathtaking cinematography and production design, but the script and the story is just generic as fuck, and I did not really enjoy it. And originally I was going to rate this 3 stars, but after pondering and just talking about it right now, I just don't feel like I can give it that much credit, you know? I mean, only visuals and production design, technical aspects can only take your film so far, and though they are great, I had a great time with them, the story just drags it down so hard, and it's just so disappointing. I think I'm going to give Last Night in Soho 2 stars. I think that's even more generous than it really deserves, from the script, from the execution of everything. The filmmaking for the most part is good, but it's just the filmmaking, and even I know you need something more, and the story is so convoluted and cheesy, and it just didn't work for me. I don't know how many times I can state that, because it just didn't work for me, bro. That's a no for me, dog. But anyways, that's one of my thoughts on Last Night in Soho. I wish I would have loved this film. I wish I could give it a praising review, because I'm not seeing many films this year that I really love. And this is just one that cannot live up to its gorgeous filmmaking. But that's going to be it for me on Last Night in Soho. But hey, what did you think of Last Night in Soho? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? I'm not Anthony Fantano, I swear. But let me know down below in the comments, and please like and subscribe if you'd be so kind. My name's George Ray. I want to thank you for tuning into this review. Please remember to keep calm, keep cool, keep chill, embrace great cinema. That's definitely not Last Night in Soho. I'll see you on the next video. Until then, peace out.